Hello, Connecticut. Fox Connecticut News has a woman named Sullivan involved with fire departments where they respond to crime scenes and next to them. And then just instances they're using their records that are faked, including with Wethersfield police, with intercities, with multiple police departments, and their roles with the same house/s, with fake transcripts and fake ties to little kids, and then as an adults too. Like some police named Mendez and many tied to them have one's name. They a fake conversation with me at the Wethersfield Police Department. Their families also next to Fox Connecticut News with the intelligence next to them and the intelligence next to the other networks and exceptions like public television. The difference of their guilt there or there, that was is also used by the breaching method, where they use all names on all sides of criminal and civil cases, the interbranch and intelligence tied to them, and news at the same time. Collusions also with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, even when they're not in that case. Unions, families putting the same sequence shifts, so the same self-valued fake transcripts, identity theft, fraud, slanders, roles acting so others can take pictures and use that to cover up how they've been using all natures of investigators remotely, criminally, foreign influence, tactically, delusions, raw. So more people involved with the principal child abuser first forced. Brought up the Sullivan, Darrell Sullivan too, recorded involved with them. Also with FBI Director Robert Luskin with foreign and domestic military and people along Park Street in conjunctions to it through time. The same people have collusions also with the state Route 3 in conjunctions to it and to that, like the state judicial branch offices, and where the corrections offices is, which is right on Wethersfield, Hartford town line. That is also exploited by people with the town lines, where and how one of the things involved with the Sullivan woman, even if that's not her, the one tied to the Darrell Sullivan. So increasingly before and after the World Trade Center attack, foreign and domestic military have roles in the Britain Superior Courts, family members, and intimate ties, and with Hartford courts, per Eric Burgess, and others with the courts, which is a federal crime to lie about. But they also have collusions with all sides of criminal and civil cases, with the courts, the interbranch, the intelligence tied to them, and at the same time, the news, and depositions the same way. The deposition of a former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, his co-defendants and their family members are increasingly involved with the Sullivan woman. And the news preventing me from getting a response. Connecticut Interbranch had been fabricating transcripts in their databases. As in like with the Britain Superior Court since I was a kid, they have all kinds of predicate acts of people from other areas involved with increasingly with predicate acts on my street, with the people with the extended family members involved with the proven child abusers, leaders of kids, and the ones I recorded involved with them with identity theft, fraud, slanders with them. Fake ties to me just because I don't even see my campuses. They're putting fake things too behind backs. People don't even go to the same campuses, tied to the same house with the wire crimes of the police too. And those are ones that did go down there and speak with the police, who had them put faked and changed things. That's recorded too. Increasingly, people tied to coaches of sports teams involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, repeating fake things. And fake motivations of it too. The people who tell them make it look like they had ties to people they don't even know. Even people in the same grade that don't even know each other. People in different grades, they recorded themselves pretending other. They already had collusions with everything that came before them as the identities of the law, as the names of the people, the sciences. For example, forgiveness is so we can focus on the predicate acts relative. No, in other words, get me off the fake conversations with WFSB, who put fake conversations in their sources. They colluded with them and pretended they were victims and they didn't want to give away their names dishonestly. Increasingly, as the New Britain Superior Court and Hartford courts are recording, confessing, demonstrating, and confirm they had roles with a whole bunch of different countries and families in West Hartford, Hartford campuses, Rocky Hill campuses, Newington campuses, involved with the same house in /S in Wethersfield, putting predicate acts, fake transcripts, in databases, including inter-branch, but also inter and intra-campuses, and as collusions with the people next to the news locations. Increasingly, people tied to, in other words, intercities, intra-cities too. Men and women that use the name Bobby have collusion /S with the retired police chiefs, and a police chief, Cintron. He's been his officers recorded him involved with them making confessions about how they switched names and fake conversations with me, involved with communications racketeering too, pretending they had a conversation with me. I never had a conversation with them. The identity theft, fraud, Slanders, no. They have some black KKK, Confederate flag theme, Latino theme, Italian theme, intercultural, intracultural, interreligious spots. They have names on all sides of a religious spot on Route 3, increasingly tied to child abusers, leaders of kids, years apart, first forest, and roles with the extended family members. People that have crime methods recorded where they put people that know each other and fake conversations with them about things they never even spoke about, including their family members, as a torture method. They don't even know the people involved with the murders and body dumping spots too, that they brought up more and more with that, and confirmations with that. Get me off of fake conversations with WFSB. They also changed what my family communicated, and they lied about the outcome of legal cases with various natures of federal criminals in those cases, and ones that are ongoing, and ones from the past that were ongoing. At the time with relativity to it. Increasingly, Lena's Pizza went out of their ways to switch names and trick me to get there to make it look like they know me. And they increasingly have tied to more people that involved with positions with campuses, involved with proven child abusers, leaders of kids. The FBI has a bunch of people with WTNH further involved with the principal upskirt nature, with more natures of organized crimes, and with untimely deaths years apart. Even if they're made up, they have time collusion /S with that, and murders years apart, and body dumping spots, time use /S of that. They value the right to lie, where the breaching method knew they would, at countries A through Z, where they speak about the principles of the law. For example, they're speaking about a lot of the things they learned through the nature of things. They learned because the breaching method knew they would learn things through it, and then pretend that's legitimate. So please, Fox Connecticut News, do what's right. Get them on paper, one name and sequence. A bunch of investigators. An investigator with the DCF has her sexual circles, different boyfriends of hers at the same time, involved with these names with the state judicial branch offices and corrections offices and Central Connecticut State University, involved with leaders of the kids and deans of the kids and their kids. And the difference of their abuses of them or their kids or them abusing others is also exploited. That's why you need to get them on paper, one name and sequence. I never had a conversation in my life with a dean, Judd, or his kid verbally. They're recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed with foreign and domestic military planting evidences in West Hartford locations, New Britain locations, before the World Trade Center attack, as collusion /S, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, but with people from Wethersfield at those same locations through time, and with the leasing agents at places I didn't even stay in the apartment too, like people tied to Adjusta Kovinskis, have rules like identity theft, fraud, Slanders, sequence shifts, and lying to whoever he reports to, a little fake, little wimpy person, and others with all these different countries. A bunch of people like Mark Violet and a bunch of people involved with Korea. Nothing about against South Korea. Right through World Wars, psychiatry had roles with all sides: criminally foreign influence, tactical delusions, raw. It was just concentrated collusions with overt criminal enterprise, private ones, and that worst about how individually grouped and humanity together, all humanity voicings, through an as systems tactical ulterior, from the one that uses human species, individual different species bodies made up of a whole bunch of individual bodies to show us its own body of value progression. And the value of it as a system valued here which reveals evolution's fruits, gifts, means out of nowhere, or as those means forced away from here, as forced space nature transfer, as lethal Hades. It is more probable that lethal Hades was defined this way by the ancients who appreciated pantheism, not about many gods, but about the one identity of hyper invisible but still discernible. That if we're speaking about a name of a god, it takes away its function. That's only part of it to teach about how it is functional, where there is one identity of value, but how there is one identity of value / value progression that is distinct from all others, while non-distinct from them. It generated, and it's generating why and how. We are a totally different species body of a whole bunch of individual bodies. We know that other species bodies didn't invent that, and we didn't, and we could observe that. Nature itself is its identity of relationship to itself, and the only increasing value of that shows us there is a distinct identity of simultaneous nature that we could observe and appreciate with what we know, individually grouped and simultaneous. It's true all ways. But if we use this nature and method of thinking, it reveals the natures of experts, of titles, and of counters to that as collusion /s, through and as systems about difference, tactical ulterior from how nature uses difference. We are not just a different species body of a whole bunch of individual bodies, for that different than them and us, while not identity of value progression. While we have the same color eyes and different color eyes at the same time, we're going to pay attention to relativity / hyperrelativity. So the agencies were fake and changed what's recorded over phones with phone transcripts. On a mass scale, there are only 3 branches of government. They were shown by the breaching method, also hyper additionally on off the Connecticut corrections offices and judicial branch offices. They have a Lance Cuddy, also increasingly involved with Lena's Pizza in Hartford, Connecticut, and Park Street, and people on New Park Avenue, before and after the World Trade Center with the Britain Superior Court, Hartford courts affected the confessions of and requests for help to me by Eric Burgess, which is also coupled with requests for help and demonstrations, non-verbally demonstrated needs for it, with others tied to him from Wethersfield. Eric Burgess has West Hartford campuses. There's an O'Neill, I don't know the rest of them, but there are more people with the campuses intercities and with houses and businesses next to them, involved with all kinds of identity thefts, fraud, slanders. A bunch of people at Hartford Hospital have been stacking fake transcripts there, and with the state corrections offices and judicial branch offices, not legitimately with unmarked police forms. And their syntax and the motivations for it, they're screening their actual motivations with the people who ever typed, even if that wasn't them, one of the Ray Calolos who typed in the comments on YouTube. Also, a Joshua Julian has collusion /s with them with the principal upskirt nature as one of the people on their Facebook page that forced that. Also with some black KKK theme, Confederate flag theme, Latino theme, Italian theme, and intracultural identity theft, fraud, slanders, and with their educators. In other words, get them on paper, one name and sequence. A bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court have roles with Fox News and their sources, and WFSB and their sources, and WTNA with their sources before and after the World Trade Center attack. They recorded themselves offensively threatening people not to defend themselves from identity theft, fraud, slanders, all the fake transcripts, and Interbranch refusing to get on paper legitimately, switching name sequences. These same names have collusions with the court next to the World Trade Center attack, and the names at it, and other spots next to it before and after the World Trade Center attack, as collusion /s. As ones with Wethersfield police, with Saudis, they forced the collusions with them, with these Mendez police, and one's named Domain, and Alison Mulcahy, they recorded confessed them, she now verbally confirmed right before a 2006 district court case with Robert Luskin and his co-defendants. Thaddeus Grabowski is also involved with them next to Fox Connecticut News, right before that case with as collusions, as rules of the wrongdoing and predicate acts against myself and others. I can only speak about myself. These are also with people with their educators involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and with the religious spots involved and the syntax as it is actually valued. Get them on paper, one name and sequence. Get me off the fake conversations with the news and with their sources. Get the interbranch on paper now. Bow.